You've ever tasted? Come try a sample. I've got all sorts of items.
Excuse me? It don't exist.
Vegetables for sale, all organic.
Daddies ain't got nothing on you.
Buy from me and you'll agree. This bread will please me.
Wanna buy something? Got cool stuff.
Check out my clearance items. That's right. Everything must
Skyfarer, I see. Enhancing your sigils? Which weapon shall I strengthen? Take care.
Wanna buy something? Got cool
I just
stuff.
got some exclusive pieces in today. And you get discounts for all. Buy one, get
What you in the market for? Now here's an offer you can't refuse. Sending out the old crew signal, eh? Who should we vote? Thanks for the business.
Buy from me and you'll agree. This bread is the bee's knees.
Found anything you like? I've got a few more options.
Let me think about this.
Ready for some action?
Oh.
Mission complete!
Oh, wow.
Seems useful.
Ready for some action?
Ah, shucks.
That's it. Can't decide, huh? Don't worry, there are no wrong choices here. Found anything you like? Hey!
Oh.
I smell a new mission. Mission complete!
Tulips! Daisies!
What have you got to lose?
Got cool stuff!
I'm all ears. Tempering your weapons? You can expect only the best. Which weapon shall I strengthen? Leave it to me. That went well. I can make any weapon you want. This turned out fantastic. Leave it to me. It's a great success. I'll unlock the power within. What you got? We buy everything. Tempering your weapons? You can expect only the best. Which weapon shall I strengthen? Always strive to be stronger. Unlocked. Leave it to me. That went well. I'll unlock the power within. Thanks for coming. Welcome. Can I take a look? Take care. I'm all ears. Ah, sigil enhancement. It's a great success. Come again.
Good day.
Sometime after our mission in Tempeal, we bumped into the old merchant in Folca.
Well, look who the cat dragged in. Thanks for handling things in Tempeal. You all deserve the best.
Tempeal had been roughed up by Furican's rampage, and all of the locals were busy repairing the damage. The work we did that day had been crucial to those recovery efforts.
Out of curiosity, my young lizard friend, were you much help to your crew?
Uh-oh. He said the L word. I turned to Vern, ready for his usual furious tagline.
Thanks, Pops. You really helped me see the light.
Huh. This was new. The old man threw an apple to Vern, and they exchanged a nod. Then, without explaining this bizarre bond between them that just came out of the blue, he left.
Does anyone else feel like the space-time continuum just broke?
Io was staring, dumbfounded at the small dragon, who was already happily munching away on a tart Granny Smith. Had he matured? Enough to ignore his most hated of hated insults?
Seriously, this is just too much to believe. He called you a lizard and everything. Maybe the ship will be a little quieter from now on, huh? Hold it! I ain't no lizard! And don't you say that in front of the apple! What if it hears you?
Maybe he'd get there in another adventure or two.
You think you know the sky and wind, but then you come to a foreign land, where unfamiliar songs on the air beckon you toward the unknown.
Catalina, where do you think this breeze is coming from?
The wind rustled Lyria's hair affectionately as she spoke. From somewhere far, far away. Much time has passed since Lyria and I escaped from the Erste Empire and met the captain in the woods of Zinkenstill. I found myself thankful that the sky has no limit, because no matter how many journeys I've made at her side, there will always be more to look forward to. Lyria and I first crossed paths when I was still a knight of Erste, and she a tool in the Empire's mad experiments on dark essence. So you're Lyria. I was appointed to stay by her side as both captor and guardian. She reminded me of a beautifully crafted puppet, never moving or speaking unless commanded. Her expression was fixed, and her eyes were bright, but cold, as if made of glass. moved to pity. I wanted, at the very least, to light a smile on her face. But I may as well have been talking to a doll. I couldn't find the part of her that was alive. It wasn't until many days had escaped us that I realized Lyria was a real girl with a feeling soul. She simply didn't know how to act like one. So, I taught her to laugh when she felt joy and cry when she felt sadness. Through books and reverie, I taught her to long for the outside world, and when colors on a page were no longer enough, I took her hand and led her to the roof of the military base. The illustrations Lyria had seen were lovely, but the sky now stretching above her was boundless and so luminous that it drew forth tears. And finally, her blue eyes shone, as if they were two patches of sky lit by a sun from within her. That sun melted my heart. There, with the open air as our witness, I made her a promise. Someday, we'll sail this endless world together. I swear it. As the bond between us grew, so did the cruelty of the experiments they performed on Lyria. Lyria doesn't belong here. No living creature does. The shining empire I served now became to me a place clouded by doubt. Day after day, a battle raged within me, between the knight loyal to her flag and the guardian who wanted to set a sad girl free. Then, one day, a memory of Lyria's response on the roof broke through like a clear ray of light.
Really? You'll show me this endless world?
I had made a vow. There was no more question where my allegiance lay. I took her hand once again, this time not to simply gaze at the sky, but to leap into it. And I did it for myself as much as I did it for her.
If I hadn't met Master Zaka on that fateful day, if he hadn't saved me, there's no way I'd be where I am now. I'm from the Vaults Duchy, where the weather's sweltering all year long, thanks to a river of lava that flows through the island. My hometown might not have been the most scenic place, but as long as I had Master Zaka with me, I was happy. After traveling for so long, I can finally say that with pride. Before I left on my journey, I was completely clueless. When my master went missing, I just ran around like a chicken with its head cut off. I was looking for something, anything that would help me find him, and that's when I met the crew. The reason behind his disappearance turned out to be even worse than I could have imagined. The Earthstate Empire had driven him out of his mind. They had manipulated him into awakening the primal beast that had lain dormant beneath the ground, Colossus. Fortunately, I was able to break through to him, thwarting the Empire's attempt to exploit Colossus's powers for conquest. I learned that they were doing all sorts of horrible things, even to their own people, in order to achieve their goals. My master was a kind person who never hesitated to help those in need. I resented the Empire for making him suffer. And I couldn't just sit around when there was work to be done. That's why I decided to join the crew. To stick it to those Empire jerks and give their victims something to smile about. A few years before I met the crew, I lost my parents to an epidemic. I mourned their deaths for who knows how long. I could barely even bring myself to face reality each morning. With no living relatives in vaults, I was like a ship adrift at sea. I had nowhere to go and nowhere to belong. Until one day, my master reached out his hand to me. I was so depressed I just kept staring at the ground. But that gentle smile never left his face as he asked me, "Why do you look so sad?" There was something in his voice that made me look up. When I did, a beautiful bouquet of flowers appeared in his hand, seemingly out of thin air. I had no idea how he'd done it, but I knew it must have been some kind of parlor trick. But he insisted it was magic. What a goofball, right? Saying that when he can use real magic. But it was just the magic I needed at that moment. Beautiful and kind. He went on to show me all kinds of incredible spells, the likes of which I'd never seen before. Watching him made me smile at a time when I thought I'd forgotten how. My master would always say that magic exists to make people happy. Something about that spoke to me. It made me want to become a mage just like him. So I signed myself up as his disciple, begging him to teach me magic. I'll never forget how happy I was when he told me I had talent. After all, if he was right, that meant I had the potential to make people smile too. One day, shortly after I joined the crew, I suddenly lost the ability to use magic. No matter how many times I tried casting a spell, nothing happened. I had no clue what to do. The rest of the crew thought Master Zaka might have the answers I needed, so we set sail for vaults. It'd been forever since I'd been back home. My master was thrilled to see how much I'd grown. I opened my mouth to ask him about my problem, but when I saw how happy he looked, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I'd promised him that I'd come back as a great mage, but there I was, unable to cast even a single spell. The last thing I wanted was for him to be disappointed in me. Around that time, an epidemic returned to vaults, the same disease that had claimed the lives of my parents. Wanting to keep it from spreading any further, my master headed to the clinic to speak with the people who'd been infected. But he ended up getting sick too. The source of the epidemic turned out to be an evil spirit that revealed itself to us right there in the clinic. I immediately confronted it. That rotten creature had already taken my parents from me. I wasn't gonna let it take anyone else. Determined to make it pay, I raised my staff, but nothing happened. I'll never forget how it felt to watch, helplessly, as my parents' killer got away. The crew gave chase, but I continued to stand where I was. Without my magic, I didn't see the point. I'd just end up getting in the way. All I could do was watch as my master suffered, withering away. Nothing had changed since the last time. But you know, it wasn't all bad. In search of a solution to my magic loss at the local library, I happened to come across a beautiful golden staff, one left to me by my mother. That's when Master Zaka revealed that my mother had been a mage too. On the verge of tears, I clenched my staff tightly in frustration. My beloved home and master were being threatened by a disease-spreading spirit, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. Just as I began feeling completely hopeless, the staff began to glow. Somehow I could feel it encouraging me, empowering me. So what if I couldn't use magic? Surely there were other ways to help everyone. Unable to stand around doing nothing any longer, I ran off to find the crew. When I finally tracked them down, they'd already been rendered powerless by the disease. That left me as the only person who could fight. There wasn't a second to lose. It was that moment when I decided I was done running away. I'd promised myself a long time ago that I was going to use my magic to make people happy. Filled with newfound resolve, I heard a voice coming from the staff. Mom? Is that you? The voice told me to visualize the power flowing through me. As I did, I could feel magic welling up inside me, flooding out from deep within. With my mom's help, I was able to defeat the evil spirits. As soon as it was gone, light erupted from my staff. I turned to see the rest of the crew climbing to their feet, their symptoms gone. The power spread through the entire island of Valsteci, eliminating the disease and bringing smiles back to the people. Things were a little touch and go there for a while, but in the end, everyone pulled through. And I've been able to use my magic without any issue ever since. I just know it's because my mom is watching over me through my staff. Thanks to her, I can keep traveling with the crew, using the staff she left me to bring out more smiles along the way.
When people ask me why I joined the society, I always give them the same answers. To get my hands on sick weapons, because the work was fun, and because I like busting my butt and actually getting rewarded for it. Sure, the society talked a good game about spreading freedom and protecting the Sky Realm's peace, but it wasn't like I ever set out to be a hero. But hunting primal beasts with badass seal weapons? Sign me the hell up. Too bad there weren't enough weapons to go around. Only the best of the best become weapon contractors. Of course, I knew from the start I was contractor material. Wasn't long before I was making a pact with the Spear of Arvest. What a hot little number. Now, did I feel bad for those who didn't make the cut? Yeah, a little. But I earned my position. And no one was gonna take that away from me. It wasn't about becoming rich or famous. It was about proving my worth. I don't like being undersold or underrated, you know? Best part was, as a weapon contractor, I had dibs on the deadliest missions. And those were perfect for showing everyone what I was made of. And damn, did the society have its fair share of enemies. The worst of which was an evil coalition we simply called the Foe, who only seemed to care about sowing chaos. As soon as I became a contractor, I was thrown into battle with the Foe. Talk about out of the frying pan and into the fire. My orders were explicit. Eliminate on sight. There were some days when the bloodshed took its toll on me. But then I'd remind myself that these villains were out to wreck the skies. When I wasn't putting bad guys into the ground, I hunted primal beasts to gather their battle data. See, seal weapons aren't just good at taking down primals. They absorb their powers, too. That's what makes our vest so special. The more primals it crushes, the stronger it gets. Imagine how unstoppable I'll be once I supercharge this bad boy. So, to recap, my average work week looks like this. Slay foes and primals, get paid, then splurge all that cash on my days off. Look, if you're gonna work hard, you might as well play hard, right? Before I joined the society, I used to lead a group of knights. It was all fun and games, until the local lord tried to adopt me as his daughter. I never cared for social status, and I sure as hell didn't want to be tied down by expectations. My life, my reins. So I said so long to my compatriots. Was nice knowing ya. But if playing by my own rules was so important to me, then why'd I throw in with the captain's crew? Well, I didn't do it just for funsies. My master plan was to have the crew members join the society too, which would have bought me a ton of brownie points with the higher-ups. But journeying with the crew changed me. I met people from all walks of life, and I grew as a person. I started thinking I'd be better off following the crew instead of the society. I'm a natural-born fighter. Maybe I could put myself to better use elsewhere. Because honestly, becoming a contractor wasn't my main reason for seeking out the society. In the end, I just figured they were the organization that offered me the most freedom. So if it wasn't clear by now, I like doing things my way. Which brings me to a constant thorn in my side. Vasaraga, the annoying half of my two-man cell. Considering it was Drill Sergeant Ilsa who assigned us together, I figured she knew what she was doing. Yeah, no. Vasaraga and I gelled like oil and water. Did Ilsa really expect us to have good team chemistry? I think sticking him with me was an attempt to keep him from going off the deep end. Only later did I find out he'd been through some pretty traumatic events in his life. It scarred him, both physically and emotionally. Maybe that's why he can be borderline suicidal whenever someone else's life is at stake. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for helping people. I'm just saying it's 100% possible to play hero without throwing your life away. I remember this one time when we got trapped in a life-or-death situation because of his screw-up. You should have heard the rage I was spewing. Know what he did next? He apologized, which just felt out of character coming from him. Like, even though it was your fault we're in this mess, don't just throw in the towel, man. Ugh, it was so frustrating. Who knew that big lug could be so sensitive? On the flip side, I can't help but be honest. I like what I like, and I hate what I hate. I don't want anyone getting the wrong impressions about me. I might say things that ruffle a few feathers, but I stand by my words. I can't take back what I've already said. Anyway, I'd rather be true to myself than be something I'm not. That's just the kind of gal I am. It was good to be back in Seed Hollow after wrapping up another easy-peasy mission. Since my schedule was empty, I decided to hit up a cute little cafe for some much-deserved cake.
Hello there!
Some little kid I've never seen before walked right up to me, his eyes twinkling with starstruck awe. He got down on one knee and said,
Will you marry me?
Was this kid for real? Did he even know what he was asking? You've got guts, little man. Tell you what, come find me in a decade or so, and then maybe we'll talk. I thought a gentle rejection would get him off my back, but I was wrong.
If you walk away now, you'll be making the biggest mistake of your life.
I knew better than to take the bait, but I had to admit, I was sort of curious. Okay, Hotshot, I'll bite. Why are you asking a total stranger like me to marry you? At least he had a good eye. Credit where credit's due.
Because I know you're strong. You make stomping monsters look so easy. Oh, and you're really pretty too.
Well, what do you know? A sweet talker.
And your spear is wicked cool. How many monsters can you shish kebab with that thing?
I should have known. Boys love the heroic stuff. 10, 20? It doesn't matter. The real prize is in hunting primal beasts. Oh, wait, you guys don't call them that. I meant primeval gods. I've got a soft spot for children, especially the ones who hang on my every word. You try ignoring the adorable little scamps. In any case, it seemed clear that this boy was genuinely head over heels for me.
So, how about it? Will you marry me?
Nope.
Aw, come on.
Word of advice, don't spring a marriage proposal on an unsuspecting woman. Catch you later, little man. Maybe we'll chat some other time. I ruffled his hair and started walking off.
I'm not giving up.
The tyke knew how to dream big. If only a certain grumpy lug I knew had the same level of optimism.
Well then, so long.